Sit down, you young whippersnappers. I'm gonna teach you guys something about change. Nah, but seriously, I'm gonna teach you guys something that you don't go to McDonald's and get after you order your favorite meal. Which, by the way, if you guys are heading there, I'll take a number 4, which is a 2 cheeseburger meal with a medium fry, and instead of my drink, I'll have a milkshake because I really don't like soda. I'm talking about the change that puts you out of one situation and into the next. And that change can be very daunting at times because normally people are in a state of content. Being in a different situation isn't always pleasurable. A couple of days ago, my car broke down. It took me out of one state of euphoria, I loved my car, into a state of hate. I hated my car because it did not work. But the benefits of it is not only did I get to fix my car, I learned more things about it that I did not know. In a couple of days, I'll be 26 years old. Now that is a huge milestone for Black Americans, but that's a totally different story. I have to change exactly what I do on the football field in order to preserve my life. Changes are not always bad. Sometimes you have to look behind the scenes. You have to look for the beauty behind the madness, the diamond behind the rough, in order to gain the full access of the change. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this forbidden list. While I did kill some of my favorite decks and stop some really cool combos, I think that there's some diamond behind the rough. Some really strong, powerful, underrated decks that you guys can be taking advantage of. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, go ahead and hit that notification bell because, well, we just too strong. I also want to give a special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Without you guys, videos like this would not be possible. Also, mad shout out to our newest Patreon, The Rude Ass Knight. I actually really like that name. I really do appreciate you, and I hope to give you content that you guys will enjoy. Without further ado, I present to you the 5 underrated decks for this September 2018 format. Number 5 on this list is probably the best extra linking deck now. I mean, Goki got a huge hit. You're gonna have to play a little bit more inconsistent cards to make it happen. Trickstars were never an extra linking deck. Sky Strikers are good, but again, never an extra linking deck. With this deck, oh man, it's definitely an extra linker when you look at it. Ninjas are that guy. This deck can still extra link. And while Sky Striker, Mecha Hornet drones did get hit, I remember specifically stating in the video that you just needed any warrior extender that didn't require your normal summon. Cards like Junk Forward, Sky Striker, Photon Thrasher, all of those are very plausible ways to still get into your extra link without using your normal summon, so you can gain your Hanzo summon and still get your effects. Another thing is that this deck was never reliant on Nightmare Goblin. I was actually trying to find ways to use the Nightmare Goblin normal summon, but it never came around. So playing cards like Ib or Proxy Dragon are still very viable and allows you to get into the extra link just like how you did before. I think another great thing about this deck is that it has access to some very powerful cards, such as the Samorg lock. Being able to Dark Samorg anti-spell fragment your opponent can be really problematic for those spell or trap heavy decks, as well as being able to special summon Mist Valley, Apex, Avion at a whim. Man, why is this deck not being played more? Is it because TheCaliEffect made a profile on it? You guys just don't like TheCaliEffect? Y'all don't like my ninjas? Whatever. Number 4 on this list is Pendulum. What? Pendulum? Who? What do you mean? The thing that go back and forth? Nah, I'm talking about Pendulum, the archetype, or the category, or the mechanic. Pendulum is a very awkward deck, mainly because it did lose Electromite, and Electromite did fuel the electricity to the deck. All right, I'll stop. I'll definitely stop. With only one Electromite, the deck is definitely a lot more awkward, but Pendulums or Metal Foes have ways to recover Electromite like it never got hit. I think that that's really powerful for Pendulum decks. Also, seeing that almost every single Pendulum card is a fit to the Pendulum strategy, you have cards like Magispector Bambuku running around in Pendulum decks. I don't think that the deck will miss Electromite too much when you can already make your board of multiple negates. I think that Pendulum is a very powerful deck and can only get better the more that Konami makes Pendulum cards. Whether it's specific to the Pendulum strategy, which I just want to call it Pendulum. I'm not even going to call it Pendulum Magician. I'm not going to call it Metal Foe. I'm just going to call it Pendulum. Whether it's specific to a certain strategy, it seems to always help the entire deck as a census. So I think it's always going to be a viable option. Number 3 on this list puts its fists into the meta. Okay, that was a good pun. And y'all can't tell me that meta fists ain't there, homie, because they are powerful. We're moving towards a format where the graveyard is going to be a focal point, and abusing cards like Banisher of the Radiance, you know, other cards like DeFi and Macro Cosmos, and also using cards like Different Dimension Ground. Yeah, that might be a good anti-meta pick, especially when you can use those cards in the benefit of banishing your own Metafist monsters to gain their effects. This deck also has a monster that can disrupt an entire board upon its summon inside of Deathless. So yeah, that's another thing for this deck. And it's a lot more consistent than what players do give it credit. Now, I know cards like Necroface is really fun in the deck, being able to banish the top 5 cards of your deck, which is almost like a Lightsworn Mill on drugs, as well as disrupt your opponent's strategy because they have to banish top 5 cards in the deck. It's just good. This deck is just good. Also, activating Pot of Desires is even more free. Even to the people that say that it's a -12 or whatever, you can just summon Necroface and shuffle it all back. That's just fun. That's really fun. I'm sorry that you might have missed number 2, but it will flood the entire Yu-Gi-Oh card game with opportunities. Oh man, you guys are gonna hate me for this. Mermail is still a very powerful deck. It's probably made every single top 5 underrated, for the exception of maybe 1 or 2, and it's because of this. Does Firewall still exist? Yes. Does Atlantean Dragoon still exist? Yes. Firewall is pretty degenerative because I'm pretty confident that this deck can still extra link. The ability to not only do that, but it can still OTK. I mean, as long as Dragoons or Teus or Megalo exists, it can still break your opponent's board and punch him in the face as well as OTK. I think that this deck will be just fine. You add on top of that this deck is flooded with other options. It has the ability to get more cards inside of a new Mermail Link or even Crystron Needle Fiber. Woo! The tides are turning and it's in Mermail's favor, guys. Okay, guys, I apologize for the water pun. I think I went a little bit too much in depth, but sometimes you guys don't OC in what I am talking about. I still can't. How many times am I gonna redo this? Okay, forget it. I'm just gonna keep going. I really do think that there are some great honorable mentions inside of the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. You guys always post down below in the comment section, hey TheCaliEffect, what about this deck? And I do agree. A lot of the times you guys post decks that are very powerful and underrated, but for me to put your deck on the list, I would have to take another deck off, which means that I didn't solve anything. Somebody's gonna comment down below in the comment section about that said deck. What I want you guys to do is to post your 5 decks. That's right, your 5 underrated decks down below in the comment section, or even just let me know of some awesome decks that I forgot in the honorable mentions. The decks that I'm talking about include Cyber Dragon, Crusader, and Paleo. Now, I could go a lot deeper into showing you guys or telling you guys more decks, but again, we're a little bit pressed for time. These decks are really awesome. Crusader, I still think, is a sleeper deck of the format, even with Sky Striker, Mecha Hornet drones hit. Cyber Dragon is probably one of the better decks that will always receive legacy support, so will always be viable. And then Paleozoic, as long as Card of Demise and Totally Awesome exists, this deck will still be a very solid underrated deck. Number 1 on this list. That's right, guys. You guys have been waiting for this. You guys have a burning passion for this deck. You guys have been wanting to send your opponent to the abyss. You guys might be a complete beast, but Notoria puts it together like Beatrice. Okay, that was just terrible, but we're talking about Burning Abyss. And even due to last format success, Burning Abyss had a lot of success last format. It always seems to just completely fall under the radar until somebody plays Burning Abyss, tops with the event, then everybody hops on that Burning Abyss, and then the cycle repeats. But I can tell you guys a couple of things. Notoria Beast is a very powerful card. Dante has been dodging the list since 2014. Beatrice is a walking foolish burial. Farfa is like, I don't know, it's the Link Dodger. It's like so multi-purpose. It's just good. Burning Abyss will forever be a powerful deck, forever be an underrated deck until graveyards become like, until everybody's main decking macro. Burning Abyss will always be that deck. I really do think so. And now since it can abuse cards like Blackluster Soldier, seeing that it's at 3, Orbital Hydrolander, psh, too strong. Hand traps? Huh, easy. Elida Sekka? Better. This deck is just very powerful. And yes, just like Mermel's, this deck will receive new support inside of the Link. Possibly once it gets his new Link monster, Burning Abyss won't be seen as an underrated deck and more of a contender that will dominate the meta. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please give it a like and be sure to comment down below in the comment section either your top 5 favorite decks, a deck that I missed, or even more importantly, why this channel is so awesome. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day like I am. And remember, if you guys are facing some adverse changes, hang in there. I know you got this, man. It's not, well, it obviously is hard, but I know you can do it. I know you'll pull through and you'll look back and be like, man, that was a crazy time of my life, but I'm glad that it's over and I'm in a good spot and I learned from it.